Hi, and welcome back to the Zeitmind video series. In this episode, we'll focus on predicting demand for the next 7 days and operationalizing our workflow. So let's start by creating a new application called Demand Prediction. In this application, we'll create a new tab called Overview. And now we can start prompting the agent to bootstrap our tab. I'll start by add an input called date. That's per day, and create a table prediction of demand for the following 7 days with demand score per day using the date input. An average day has a score of 100. Launch days should be adjusted appropriately, and also add a chart. So we can send this off now, and the agent will start inspecting our data sets that we have, and once it's happy with what it found, it will start creating this tab. So let's see what it does. So the agent has inspected our data, it found something that's good for what we need, and it created a bunch of resources. We have our day picker at the top, we have a table here with the next 7 days, how many launches there are, the demand score, and we have a demand prediction chart at the bottom. Now I don't really like how these are bars, so I'm just going to tell the agent that this should be actually a line chart. Change the demand prediction to be a line chart. So the agent has now edited or suggested to edit our visualization. I can just open this, make this slightly bigger, so we can see the old chart and the new chart. I'm happy with what it is, so I'm just going to click accept, and it updated already in the app. Now I'm just going to pick a week where I know a launch is in our data set, and I know that in December 2024 we definitely have one. And what we can see here now, okay, there's a launch count in there, and we have an adjusted demand for that specific day. Perfect. So the next thing we want to do is actually know how much should we be ordering, how many ingredients do we need based on what we just saw. So I'm going to create a new tab called ingredient purchase. So with our new tab, what we want to now do is create a new input called demand score, and that should just be the sum of the whole week, basically how much demand we expect. And we want it to tell us how many ingredients do we need. So I'm just going to start with create a new input, demand score, numerical, and then I'm just going to describe what we know. So I know that an average pizza that we sell needs about 300 grams of tomato sauce, 1 mozzarella, and 1 dough ball. Determine the average amount of ingredients for the days where we didn't have to close early using sheet 1. Sheet 1 is our closing times that we saw earlier already, and live pizza orders. I want a table, I'm just going to clarify what I'm actually expecting from it. I want a table with 1 ingredient per row. Great, so our agent created the demand score input, and it created a table with the average quantity that we need for any given day, from dough balls to mozzarella. So we don't want that actually in our app just now, so we're just going to do delete. The table will stay here, it will show up in the artifacts tab. And what we want to do now is adjust, based on our demand score, how much ingredients we now need. So what I'm going to tell it now is based on average ingredients, where an average day is 100, where an average day is a demand score of 100. Determine how many ingredients we need using demand score. So our agent is finished, and it ended up editing the existing table, which is fine. So we now see here in the previous version we had 2 columns, ingredient and average quantity per day, and what it did now here is it added 2 more columns, which is demand score and quantity needed. And if we now play around here and just put in something, you see it reloads, and it will actually adjust. We'll see the demand score and the quantity needed. So what we do now is we just accept that edit, and we just add it into our app, and we call it ingredient quantities. Perfect. The final step that we want to do now is actually connect these 2 pieces. So we can go back to our overview. Now back in our overview tab, we want to start summing up the demand scores here. So let's ask the agent to create a new table that sums up the demand scores, just like demand prediction the next 7 days. Consider date as the starting point. I expect one row, just so the agent knows what I'm actually looking for. So I'll send this off and we'll see what it will create here. So our agent came back and it created a new table that sums up the demand score. So we can see here 750, looking at this, that looks correct. And what we'll do now is we actually won't add it to the tab as a panel. We'll just move it over to the tab as a resource. So you can see it showing up here, this very long table name. And what that will now allow us to do is we will create a new panel called the button, and we will call the button show ingredients. And we will define actions here. So an action is just like function calling, basically. We can say when the button gets clicked, we want to open the ingredients purchase tab, and we want to set the input demand score to be a table, and we want to obviously take our sum here, and we want it to be, so we're choosing the table now, and we're picking the column demand score sum, and it will just take the first value at the first row. It obviously only has one row anyway, so that will just work fine here. I'll create the button. As you can see, it's a bit small. I'll just make it slightly bigger, close the sidebar, and center there as well. Okay, oops. All right. So what we can now do is, okay, we see here our expected demand. We can click on show ingredients. It will automatically adjust the demand score here, and it will update it here, obviously. And we now know we need 332 doorballs and 99 kilos of tomato sauce. If we pick the previous week or the previous Monday, we see here, oh, there's actually on a single day 5 launches, and that obviously changes the equation a bit. So we click on show ingredients. Now it's the demand score of 950, and we can order accordingly. So that's the final video of the series. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.